we have seen the differentiation, the delta configuration between the currencies. What are all the, okay, how many currencies can be assigned in FI and how many currencies can be assigned in CO. Now today we are going to see the part of CO that is going to be called as controlling. Controlling currencies are very important actually. So just to bring the summary of yesterday's session, FI, how many currencies can be assigned previously? Okay, 3 currencies, very important. That is at the basic level table. That is at the basic level table. Now, when you come to the FI for the ECDOCA table, how many currencies? 2 plus 8. Totally 10 currencies can be assigned. That is 2 plus 8. Totally 10 currencies. Okay, so that is at the ACDOCA table level. That is the ECDOCA table level. So we have seen about the configuration, and now there is only one screen where we can maintain all the ledgers and the currency types. What is the transaction code we have to use to maintain the currencies and the ledgers? FINS underscore, as I told you, that FINSC underscore ledger. This is the transaction code we have to use it actually. So to maintain the currencies and the ledgers. So I know what is the local currency. I know what is the local currency or company code currency. Both are going to be the same as I discussed yesterday also. Local currency or company code currency. Whichever the currency you have been assigned to the company code, that particular currency will become your local currency or company code currency. And what is the currency type for the company code currency? Anybody? What is the currency
10.
type? 10.
10.
Okay, we are using the 10. Now, yeah, this is about the company code level. Now, when you take a company code, okay, the company code is the legal entity, so the currency which have been assigned to the company code is called as a local currency. Now there is another module where we are going to be calling it as a controlling. Controlling is a module, we can call it as the FICO, finance and the controlling actually. Both are going to be interrelated. Controlling is mainly useful for the costing accounting, which is going to be called as the cost accounting. We can call it as the cost accounting to trigger the various for a manufacturing of a product. 1 minute. Okay, during a manufacturing of a product, various costs are going to be incurred, okay, on a product, like from the procurement of the raw material till the goods have been sold to the customer, till the profitability analysis has been done, various costs are going to be involved. So these costs are going to be controlled. Okay, how these cost objects are going to be controlled? What is the cost which has been involved? Everything we can. Okay, the controlling is the module which tells about the component, about the costing. Okay, so the company code, whatever the company code we are going to be using, like US 10 or 1710, this is the company code. So this company code is used to post all the day-to-day transactions in our company. So this company code is getting assigned to a controlling area. We are creating a one controlling area actually, controlling area. Okay, so FI and CO, finance and controlling, finance and controlling. Finance is going to be having mainly useful for the external reporting purpose, and the controlling is mainly useful for internal reporting purpose. Finance is mainly useful for external reporting purpose. What do you mean by external? For the preparation of P&L account and balance sheet to show for the stakeholders. Okay, and controlling is mainly for the internal reporting purpose, to control the cost. How we can control the cost, what type of cost has been incurred during a manufacturing of a product. Okay, how to transfer, how to do the assessment of the cost, how to do the distribution of the cost. Okay, what is the product cost controlling? There are several components are there in the controlling. When I take a controlling module, there are several components are there. There are several components are there. Like we can discuss about the cost center accounting. Cost center accounting is one of the component where we are going to be activating for the controlling, and we have the cost element accounting. Cost element accounting, internal orders, profitability analysis, okay, product cost controlling, profit center accounting. Okay, these all are going to be called as the components in the controlling. Like in FI, we have the accounts payables, general ledgers, account receivables, asset accounting. These are the components of your finance. So in the same way, when you take a controlling is one of the module where we are going to be having like cost center accounting, cost element accounting, internal orders, profitability analysis, product cost controlling, profit center accounting, activity based costing. These all are going to be called as internal components of the controlling, where we can control the cost, how the cost has been incurred, okay, what type of cost has been incurred, okay. So during a manufacturing of a product, okay, what is my planned cost, what is my actual cost, what is my target cost, how much profit has been incurred, okay, on what base the profit, okay. I want to do the profitability analysis based on the market segmentation. What is the, okay, what is the profit on the customer aging analysis, customer grouping, customer hierarchy. Like this, I can analyze my profits. I can analyze my cost during a manufacturing of a product. So I'm using some cost objects like cost centers. Okay, these cost objects are going to be taking the cost from various other models to the controlling. So like this, these all are going to be controlling about the cost which is incurred during the manufacturing of a product. Now, what we are going to do, whichever the company code you are using to post the day-to-day transaction, this company code is getting assigned to a one area, where that area is going to be called as a controlling area. First, we need to create an org structure, the org structure of the controlling area. So like FI, we have a org structure. What is the org structure of FI? When I take an FI, first we are going to be maintaining a client. Client is the first hierarchy level. Client, company coach, and we can call it as a business area or the profit centers. Okay, this is the org structure of your FI, finance. Client, in which client you are doing this particular process. Okay, company, which is the company is the trading partner actually, as I discussed yesterday. Okay, company code and the business area. In the same way, we have the org structure. We have the separate org structure for your controlling area. Let me discuss the org structure, everything for the controlling area. So for the controlling area, we are assigning a one currency, just like a company code, where we are whatever the currency we are assigning to a company code, that particular company code is currency is going to be called as a local currency, which is indicated with the currency type 10. In the same way, we are creating one controlling area now. Okay, controlling area is a must and should if you are using the cost accounting. First hierarchy level is nothing but your controlling area. So first create one controlling area, and in that controlling area, we are assigning one currency now. Okay, why? Because when you take our SAP S4HANA, now there is no reconciliation process from today onwards. Reconciliation has been completely eliminated. Reconciliations are completely eliminated. What do you mean by elimination here? What do you mean by reconciliations are completely eliminated now? Now, for example, I'll take one example now. Earlier, we have the asset accounting and we have the general ledger. I'll take one example. Very, very important example this is. Okay, earlier, what we are going to do, we have an asset accounting and we have the general ledger. As I know, that general ledger is the central tenet of total accounting system, where you are extracting the P&L account and balance sheet at the general ledger level using the company code. We know that. Okay. Now, when you take an asset accounting, actually asset accounting is a different module actually. Okay. Completely different module. We are going to be including the asset accounting is one of the sub module in our FI, but it is a separate treated as a separate module actually. Now, when I'm treating it as a separate module, when I'm treating it as the asset accounting is related to the fixed asset like depreciation posting, like accumulated depreciation posting, everything. So these all the transactions are getting posted in my asset accounting. For example, I want to acquire a building. I want to acquire a building. When I want to acquire a building from a vendor, or like anyone, for example, today I want to purchase a building from the vendor. So when I'm acquiring a building from the vendor, what is happening? My building is getting debited. My building is nothing but your assets. Building is nothing but your asset here. Building is getting the building account. This is the asset account is getting debited, and my vendor account is getting credited. So here the vendor account is getting credited over here. Okay, the vendor is accounting is getting credited. This is asset related transaction. This is a completely asset related transaction. So where I should have an integration, between the asset accounting to the general ledger. We can call it as a reconciliation. We can call it as a reconciliation between the asset accounting and the general ledger. Now this accounting entry, what you are going to do, this accounting entry you are posting in the asset accounting, not directly in the general ledger, not directly in the general ledger. Now through the reconciliation between the asset accounting and the general ledger. So what I'm going to do, I'm constructing a bridge between the asset accounting and the general ledger. This bridge connecting is called as a reconciliation. Very, very important. This bridge connecting is called as a reconciliation. Like we have a BRS, bank reconciliation statement, whatever the debits, whatever the credits you are done in a day. So you will get a complete statement by the end of the day. That is going to be called as a reconciliation statement. So what is the total today's opening balance and what is the today's closing balance? How many debits we have done? How many credits we have done? You will get a complete statement of account by the end of the day. That is going to be called as a reconciliation statement. Now what will be the tomorrow's opening balance? Okay. In the same way, there is the reconciliation is there between the asset accounting and the general ledger. Very, very important topic this is, please. Very, 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 very important topic. Okay. So reconciliation between the asset accounting and the general ledger. So because of this reconciliation, whatever the transactions you are posting in asset accounting, like acquisitions, retirement is nothing but when the asset has been sold to a customer and I want to do the depreciation every monthly after completing of my period ends. Okay, I want to post the depreciation accounts. Everything you are doing the transactions in the asset accounting. So vice versa, I would like to see those accounting entries are getting reflected to my general ledger. Why? Because if I can't have these transactions in my general ledger, my financial statement is incomplete. My financial statement is incomplete because I don't have the asset related data in my general ledger accounting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the reconciliation between the asset accounting and the general ledger. Now, whatever the transactions you are posting that through the reconciliation account, those transactions are getting appeared in my general ledger. Now, yes, today you posted the building account debit to vendor account. Your purchase, this is called as acquisition of an asset. Now, when I open the document in my GL, I can see that the accounting entry document, actually we discussed that entry view, another one is the general ledger view, GL view. Okay. This accounting transaction is called as entry view. If I go and see the document in my general ledger, I can see the entry view. That is your building account is getting debited. Building account is getting debited. And what happening here? The vendor account will become the credit. This is the entry view. Now, if I want to switch the mode from the GL view to the entry view to the GL view, now I'm switching the mode from the entry view to the GL view. Building is not a GL account and vendor is not a GL account. Building is not a GL account and vendor is not a GL account. General ledger view only contains the GL accounts. It doesn't contain the asset accounts. It doesn't contain the vendor accounts. It doesn't contain the customer accounts. General ledger view only contains the GL view. GL view means GL debit and the GL credit. Now, there is a one reconciliation account is there in the building account and there is a one reconciliation account is assigned to the vendor account. So these reconciliation accounts will be seen here. So what happened? So here, when I'm displaying to the general ledger view, okay, building reconciliation account, there is the acquisition and the production cost is called as a reconciliation account. That account I am assigning in the building. So recon account will be building recon account. Building recon account. We'll see the debit. And when you see the vendor, you can call it as a sundry creditors. You can call it as a sundry creditor. Sundry creditors account will become the credit. So this is the GL view. This is the GL view. So because of the reconciliation, I can able to see that accounting entries getting reflected in my general ledger. Earlier, we have the different sets of tables. When you come to the asset accounting, where we have the different sets of the tables, and the GL is going to be having the different sets of tables. Now, in our SAP S/4HANA, now this reconciliation is no more available. Yes, my dear friends, no reconciliation process is going to be triggered from today onwards.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Why do you have sundry creditor account credit? It's also vendor is nothing but another subledger, right?
No, sir. Vendor is not a subledger. It is not a GL account. No, sir. Vendor account is not a GL account. What do you mean by GL account and the vendor account? Vendor account is a party account.
Yeah, subledger.
Subledger. Subledger will not become your GL. No?
No, recon account, right?
Recon account. So what you're going to do here, I am assigning our recon account to the vendor account. So that recon account will become the debit in my GL view.
Oh.
See, sir, I'll tell you. I'll explain you one example. Now, Mr. John. Mr. John is nothing but my vendor. John is nothing but my vendor. Account number 123456. His account number is 123456. So I cannot call the John 123456 is not a GL account. It is a vendor account.
Yes, it's a vendor account.
It is a vendor account. So in this vendor account, when I'm creating the vendor master record, in this vendor account, what I will do, I will assign one GL account to him. I will assign one GL account. I will assign one GL account in the vendor master record. This account is called as the sundry creditors account.
Okay. Oh, got it.
So this account is called as the sundry creditors account. So in the entry view, you can see the 123456 account. If I switch the mode from the entry view to the GL view, I can see this account number, sundry creditors account number in the GL view. Clear, all of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go to the BP, for example, /n BP, I'll take one account number. Now I'll take one example.
Hey, Rahul, one question.
Yeah.
When are we going to get access to the system?
But today, end of the day.
Okay.
You already initiated, but today, end of the day, you are going to get the access. Okay, now you can see here. Some background noises, please. If somebody who's not talking, please switch off. Guys, from background noise. Yeah, thank you. See here. Now 103 is the Abhaya. Okay, Abjay 4. He is the vendor actually. We can call him as a vendor. Now you can see this is a vendor account number. This is the vendor account number. Okay, so Abjay 4. Okay, he's a vendor. Now this vendor account will become the debit and credit in the accounts payable. That is the entry. Okay. Now, when I switch on to the company code here, there is a one recon account has been assigned to this vendor. What I will do here. Okay, I'll go to 1710 and this is my I'm extending this to company code. Okay, I'm extending this to company code. Now, what I will do, I will assign one recon account to him. I will assign one recon account to him. This particular one. Okay, for this object. So whichever the recon account you are assigning in this vendor master record, that recon account will become the credit. So let me see whether anybody Tata Group. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Now, okay, for him also it is not there. Oh, 1 second. 1 second, sir. 1 second. There is some issue there. 1 second. Okay, I'll check the system. Okay, found is not option. Okay, I'll check the system. Okay, now earlier we have this reconciliation. Okay, earlier we have the reconciliation. So before you go to the month-end closing activity, before you go for the month-end closing activity, so you're going to run the reconciliation report between the asset accounting and the general ledger. And if there are any inconsistencies between the balance between the assets and the GL, you're going to rectify those errors. And balances are going to be differentiated and the balances are going to be adjusted, and then you are going to close for the month-end closing activity. Then you are opening the new period. That is what exactly the reconciliation process. So now we are now in SAP S/4HANA, we are bringing a common table which is going to be called as a universal general entry table from today onwards. Okay, no more reconciliation between any module to the general ledger, between any internal process between the general ledger. Now there is no reconciliation process between the asset accounting and the general ledger. Earlier we have different reconciliation process. So your COP, okay, your GL, okay, mean to say that, okay, earlier your controlling is getting reconciled to your to the general ledger, your COPA is getting reconciled, and your material ledger is getting reconciled. Okay, your general ledgers are getting reconciled. So we have different reconciliations. Now each and every module, each and every controlling, there are different sets of tables are there earlier. For COPA, there are different sets of tables are there. For material ledger, we have different sets of tables are there. For asset accounting, we have a different sets of table. For general ledger, we have a different sets of tables are there. Now, what the SAP has done, I'm completely eliminating this reconciliation process from today onwards. Everything will be get posted in the real time to the one table that is called as ACDOCA tables. No more tables are going to be all the index and the aggregate tables. I'm completely removing off. Now we don't have this reconciliation process from today onwards. So what I'm going to do, I'm bringing one common table which is going to be called as ACDOCA table, Universal General Entry Table from today onwards. I'm bringing a very big table for you. Now all the postings related to the general ledger accounting will be get posted to your ECDOCA table. All the asset related postings are getting posted to the ECDOCA table. All the controlling related postings are getting posted to the ECDOCA table, and your COPA, that is profitability analysis postings, and your material ledger postings. Very, very important. This is very, very important. Okay. Now you can see there will be only one document is getting triggered. The document is getting posted to your ECDOCA table from today onwards. So I have eliminated the reconciliation process. Now I removed the complete reconciliation process between the modules. You can see that this all the 5 different subcomponents postings are going to be appeared to one table. That table is going to be called as ECDOCA table. ACDOCA table. For this table, yesterday, we have defined the currencies. We have defined the currencies. Totally, there are 10 currencies. 2 currencies plus 8. 2 is nothing but one is the local currency, another one is the global currency. Very, very important. And the remaining 8 are going to be called as freely defined currencies. In the same way, earlier in SAP ECC, I'm talking, not in SAP S4HANA. Okay, in earlier, we are going to have a separate sets of currencies for the GL earlier in SAP ECC. We have a separate sets of currencies for the asset accounting. We have a separate sets of currencies for the controlling, and we have a separate sets of currencies for the COPA, and we have separate sets of currencies for the material ledger. Earlier, I'm talking in our SAP ECC. Okay, so one is tables. One is going to be called as the tables, different sets of tables, and the different currency settings. Different currency settings, very, very important, my dear friends. Different currency settings are there. Now, in SAP S4HANA, what I'm going to do, I'm eliminating all these internal tables, all the index and aggregate tables, and all the currencies are getting eliminated. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm setting the currencies. Very, very important. I'm setting the currencies for only one table. That table is going to be called as ECDOCA table. So whatever the postings you are making, general ledger postings like salary account, cash or bank account, it will be get posted to the general ledger. If you are posting the asset related transactions, just like I told that earlier, different tables are there. Now all the tables have been removed. Now all the asset related transactions are getting posted to your ECDOCA table. All the controlling transactions are getting posted to the ECDOCA table. All the material ledger postings are getting posted to the ECDOCA table. Now what I'm going to do, now I am making only one table for all the subcomponents getting posted to the ECDOCA table. So I'll go to the simplification list, which is very, 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 very important. Now I'm going to the simplification list now. So in this simplification list, if I open the 1809, very, very important. So if I go to the currency settings, if I go to the currency settings now, very, very important topic this is. This particular table is very, very important. There is no other way we need to remember this table. Very, very important now. This is what exactly we are going to do the configuration from today onwards. So these are going to be called as field names. If I go to the ECDOCA table, these all are going to be called as the field names. HSL, company code currency, KSL, group currency, OSL, okay, transaction currency. These all are going to be called as field names in the ECDOCA table for the different currencies. Very, very important this is. If I go into the ECDOCA table, System is very slow. I don't think so.
So, Manish, we don't have the asset accounting like we normally do, right? Chart of depreciation. So in
Only the tables are limited. The remaining the process will remain same. There now the data architecture has been changed. They're removing the table, but the process remains same, sir.
so chart of depreciation is still there.
Still there, sir, because without the chart of depreciation, the chart of depreciation has been assigned to the company code. So without the chart of depreciation, I cannot define my assets and I cannot go for the calculating of the depreciation for assets.
Okay.
Yeah, still it is there. When we are doing the practicals of asset accounting, I'll discuss all those things, sir.
All right, perfect. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Because now currently we are only in the currency settings only. We are not even entered into the general ledger.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Remember when I did the asset accounting, so I was wondering.
We are not even completed the basics of AC DOCA table. We are still from the last 4 classes. We are only discussing about the structure, the skeleton of AC DOCA table.
Correct.
So a lot more things are there, sir. So I'm just going very coolly, okay? So I'm not hurry to complete the syllabus. So I'm going very smoothly so that you people can understand. You will be comfort in writing the preparation for the examinations or something like if you're getting any doubts in the real time, so that it will be easy for you to get understand. So that is my intention, not to complete the syllabus and collect the money and start a new batch. No. Okay, see here. Now I posted one transaction. That transaction has got posted to which table? To now from all the transactions, whether you're posting the GL related, whether you're posting the asset accounting related, as I told you that, whether you're posting the controlling or COPA or material ledger. Now all the transactions will get posted to one table from today onwards. That table is called as AC DOCA table. Earlier we have a different sets of table. For example, let me take one example. Okay. Now let me take one example of asset accounting. Now I'll go to the asset accounting now. Okay, 1 second, sir. Now when I go to the asset accounting, now I'll go to the asset accounting now. So I'm just bringing the structure before and after. This is very important to all of you. Yeah, this is the asset accounting earlier. So earlier we have a different sets of table. If you see the architecture of asset accounting, ANEK is one table called as a header table, and ANEP, ANEA, ANLP, and ANLC. These all are going to be called as the line item level tables earlier. So all the actuals are going to be stored in ANEP. The plan data is going to be stored in ANEA. ANLC is going to be called as plan data. So these are the different dates. So we will do the planning, we will do the actuals, everything. So these are the different sets of tables we are able to see earlier in our SAP ECC. Now what SAP has done, it has brought only one header table. We don't have any other header tables, my dear friends. We have only one header table on the top of your ECDOCA table. If you see, this is the line item level table. ECDOCA table is called as a line item level table. All the debits and credits, everything you can see over here. Line item level table. On the top of this, for all these components, we have only one header table. That header table is called as a BKPF. BKPF is only the one header table. BKPF.
So Manish, how does this connect? Suppose if we have a line item, right? So
yes, sir.
How we reference to the header table? What's the reference key here?
What, sir?
So when we have a line item, right, in AC DOCA table, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
One common BKPF table, right, which carry all the.
One common header table for all these components. Exactly.
Okay. So what is the main link between those two tables? What is the field or connecting?
I'll tell. I'm coming, sir. Now I'm coming. The same thing. I'm coming. I'll tell. I'll be telling you. Okay. Now, yes. Okay. Now earlier for general ledger, we have a BKPF as the header table. Earlier, I'm talking about in your SAP ECC, BKPF is the header table. When you come to the asset accounting, only I'm talking asset, ANEK is the header table. When you come to the controlling, COBK is the header table. COBK is the header table. Same thing for the COPA, COBK is the header table. COBK is the header table. Okay, when you come to the material ledger, okay, ML is the header table. Okay, so earlier we have a different header tables. Now you can see different sets of header tables are defined. Earlier we have for general ledger we have a different header table. ANEK is the header table for the general ledger. Now what the SAP has done, okay, it has brought down only one single header table for all these components, because if all the postings are getting posted to ECDOCA table from today onwards. Either you're posting to the GL accounting, the header table will be a BKPF. Whether you're posting the asset related, the header table will be a BKPF. Now what the SAP has done here, it has completely eliminated the different sets of. Now it has completely eliminated all the header tables. No more different header tables for each and every component wise. It has completely eliminated. Now it has brought down only one header table. That header table is going to be called as a BKPF from today onwards for all the components, and there is only one line item level table called as ECDOCA table. So if I see this asset accounting, so these all are going to be called as the line item tables. Okay, ANEP to till ANLC, these all are going to be called as line item, and this ANEK is called as header table. Now after you bring to the universal journal entry table, now only one line item level table, and we have replaced this header table with the BKPF. Now you can see here. Replace the BKPF with the header table. And this ECDOCA is only for actuals. This ECDOCA is only for the actuals, not for the planning, not for the statistical data actually. Only actuals are going to be stored in the ECDOCA table. But when you come to the asset accounting, not only the actuals, we have the plan data, we have the statistical data, we have the year dependent data. These all the data are available. But you're telling that ECDOCA is only purpose of actuals, but what about the planning data? What about the statistical data? Where you are going to store these data? So what SAP has done, okay, we have designed a separate sets of table for those. Okay, for all the statistical data which is related to the tax purpose. Earlier, previously they are stored in ANEP, ANEA, ANLP, and ANLC earlier. Now all the statistical data now I'm bringing into another table where a new table has been designed, FAAT underscore doc underscore IT. The same way the plan data, I have brought a new table, FAAT underscore plan underscore values. Earlier I'm able to store all the data in these tables. Now I'm bringing three new tables for the asset accounting. One is the common universal journal entry table. Another one is the statistical data. Another one is for the plan data. So like this, I have designed a new structure now. Now I have designed a new structure in the same way, not only for asset accounting, for all the remaining modules, I have completely eliminated the header tables and the line item level tables, and I brought down only one table which is called as the ECDOCA table from today onwards. Very, very important. So whatever the postings, either you're posting the GL postings, or you're posting the asset postings, or you're posting the controlling or middle ledger posting. Now all the postings will come and sit in the ECDOCA table from today onwards. Very, 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 very important. And second part, currencies. When you come to the currencies now, yes, GL means it is a completely BSEC level table. GL means it is a completely, earlier we have the BSEC level table. Now also it is there. So how many currencies are getting supported? 3 currencies are getting supported. As we discussed yesterday, we discussed that. One is the local currency, second one is the group currency, third one is any additional currencies. In the same way, asset accounting also we have different sets of currencies. Controlling also we have different sets of currencies. Okay, so each and every module wise, we are going to structure the currencies. Now, as I know that every configuration is getting triggered, every postings are getting triggered to the ECDOCA table. Now the new data structure has been designed. This is what exactly I would like to show from you. Now, when I go into the ECDOCA table, if I see a document, and I would like to see the fields of currencies now. See, these are the fields of the currencies. Okay. Balance in transaction currency, company code currency, the global currency, and these are 8 freely defined currencies. And another new currency has been introduced, which is going to be called as the controlling object currency. I'll tell what is this. Okay, I'll explain you. These all are going to be called as a currency. So each and every currency is going to be stored in a separate field. Okay. For a balance transaction currency, USD is getting stored in which field? Yes, this is the table. I know that ECDOCA table is a table, but in the table, these all are going to be called as the fields. These all are going to be called. Each and every currency is going to be stored in a separate field name. Those field names are going to be called as HSL, KSL, OSL, VSL, BSL. These all are going to be called as the field name. If you want to know each and every field name in a much more detail, here they have given. Here they have given here. HSL is nothing but, sorry, WSL, very, very important. WSL is nothing but amount in transaction currency. What is that? Original currency of the transaction, not contained in the balance. It might happen that different currencies cannot be aggregated, corresponding to the BSEC with the ABTNR. Okay, so amount in transaction currency. What is the transaction currency here? Here you can see the transaction. This is what exactly the amount in the transaction currency. What is the field name for this? The field name for this is going to be called as a WSL. Next one. Amount in balance in transaction currency, the field name is going to be called as a TSL. Okay, this is what exactly. Amount in balance is the field name for this is going to be called as a TSL. Like this, for each and every field in the ECDOCA table, currency field for the ECDOCA table, we have a field name. WSL, TSL, HSL is going to be called as the company code currency. Okay, KSL is going to be called as the global currency. So for 8 freely defined currencies, we have a different. OSL is the first, VSL, BSL. These all are going to be called as 8 freely defined currencies, and controlling area currency, which is going to be called as CO_OSL. So if we go to the ECDOCA table, we can see the different currency. Each and every currency is going to be stored in a separate fields. These all are going to be stored in a separate field. These are going to be called as the field names. These are going to be called as the field names in the ECDOCA table. There is no other way. You have to by heart. I don't know how you are going to be by hearting this. Okay, but you have to keep it in your mind. Tomorrow when I call, tomorrow I'm directly calling, this is the OSL field means. You have to completely understand. Oh, Rahul is talking about the freely defined currency one. If I'm talking TSL, hey, Rahul is talking about the balances in transaction. So tomorrow I'm not going to tell it is a company code currency, it is a global. I directly call with the field names, TSL, HSL, KSL. So you have to recollect and you have to understand. That is the assignment which I'm giving to all of you, please. I hope everybody has this simplification list with you, all of you, I think. Everybody has. Already I posted in the blog. I told that you can download from the blog and you can keep it on going on through the simplification list. Already I given to all of you. Okay. If you go to the page number 268, you can see this all the fields. Next one, which is very, very important. Yes. Okay. Now this is the heading. This is going to be the heading. Okay. Now I'm coming to the currencies now.
Mahesh, before you're going to the next step,
yeah,
I have a question. When you are explaining about the reconciliation,
yes, sir.
And you told that the reconciliations are eliminated, and in asset accounting you put an entry and GL view, and entry view also you explained in GL. So exactly. What exactly is the entry which we will be seeing in S4HANA? Only both the entries?
Both the entries I can see. Both the entries.
Entry view as well as GL view, right?
Exactly. You see, if okay, when I'm posting this particular, so in SAP S4HANA, I'm posting this building account debit to the vendor account credit. So the document type which I'm using is called as the asset. This is the AA is the document type. Okay. Now there will be a document number will be generated. So the document number example I'm taking 100 is the document number. So when I go to my display of the document, first I'll see the entry view. That is the building account is getting debited and the vendor account is getting credited. If I switch on to the general ledger view, from the entry view to the general ledger view, the same accounting entry I can see in the GL accounting form. That is your building recon account will become the debit and your sundry creditors account will become the credit, like this.
So when it is taken to in S4HANA, when it is taken into the balance sheet, so you have here building account debtor, that is one entry. Where is it getting nullified?
What's that? That will get nullified once you do the payment, no, sir. This is only one example which have been shown, but there are a lot of.
I understood when you are explaining. It's clear, but now the point is building account debtor, vendor account credit. If it is all going to show it in ACDOCA table,
Yes, sir.
And in S/4HANA, for the
Okay.
same debit, if it's again repeating under the reconciliation account or building reconciliation account debtor, there will be a duplication, right?
No, duplication, no. You see, I'll tell you one example here, sir. There is no duplication. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm completely removing the internal reconciliation process. I cannot see any kind of duplication. See, tomorrow, if I'm going to prepare your P&L account and balance sheet, and my P&L account and balance sheets are getting prepared at the GL account level, not at the vendor account level, not at the customer account, not at the asset level. Very, very
Yeah.
important, sir. So I'm
So
going
that
to bring.
means the entry view will not be going
No,
to
no.
the
Yes,
trial
sir. You are
balance or balance sheet, yeah? Okay.
exactly, sir. Exactly.
So
The
that
general
is,
ledger view will be taken.
yeah, it will have a separate, identification in ACDoc table to identify that it's an entry
Yes,
view.
sir.
And
Yes, sir. I'll show because we are posting
okay.
lot many transactions. I'll explain over there. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Hi Mahesh, as far
Yes,
I
sir.
know that reconciliation accounts are subledgers account and
Exactly.
they
You're right.
collect data. They consolidate data from the vendors and customers for account payable and account receivable, right? And
Exactly.
you cannot enter data directly to reconciliation accounts.
Exactly.
They
We
receive
cannot manually enter the recon accounts just like
right,
how you enter the salary account, general ledger account. The recon accounts has to be automatically triggered.
right. So, okay, so the picture I see here, it is for ECC, right?
Exactly.
So what is difference now in HANA, what we do?
Now
Can
in
you
HANA,
explain a
what
little
is
bit?
happening here? Now we are
Right.
completely removed this reconciliation now. Earlier, what is happening? Now, earlier, what is happening? If I take this asset accounting to the general ledger, okay. So now,
Okay.
when there is a concept called as where some in companies during the month end closing activities, what they will do here, they will remove this reconciliation settings and they will do some manual posting directly in the general ledger. Okay,
Okay.
because of this there is a balance differentiation is there between the asset accounting and the general ledger. Earlier there are a lot of transactions. ABF1 is one of the transactions we are using where we can post the recon accounts and we can nullify where the difference is coming. Now from today onwards, I'm completely eliminating this reconciliation process and
Okay.
directly cannot do any kind of changes between the asset balance and the vendor GL balance. So whatever the assets you're posting, the same balance will be appear in the GL. So no more
Okay.
manual entries are going to be triggered because I'm eliminating this
Okay.
reconciliation from. So what is happening? I'm making the end user job very, 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 very easy now. So earlier, what is happening once it comes to the month end closing, when end user is struggling a lot. When you go to the period end closing activities, because of there is a difference is there in the asset accounting and there is a difference is there in the general ledger. Okay, if I see one asset, the balance in asset is 100 USD. If I see the GL, the balance in the GL for the same asset, I'm seeing the $90. So where is the $10? The $10 is the difference. Why the $10 difference is coming? Because of some reconciliation issue. Some users might have posted this manually with removing the recon account or something like that. So because of this, the reconciliation issues are coming. So now there is no concept of posting any manual accounting entries, removing of record. Everything should be triggered automatically through the ECDOCA table.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before you are moving further again,
Yes, sir.
under you explained under F5 that the structure like client, company code, business area, all those. Under
Yes, sir.
CEO, earlier we know that operating concern and then
Exactly.
controlling company code, plan.
Client,
Yeah.
controlling area, company code, and operating concern.
Operating concern. So still the operating concern concept is still there, right?
Still there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is no change.
The concept of plant is also there.
What's that?
Plant.
Plant?
Yeah, concept of plant, which is a unit within a company code, which
Plants.
is plants. Yeah.
Plants. Okay, it is there. It is there. Yes.
It is there.
Yeah.
And in between, you also trying to explain about activity. So those the master data which we have,
Exactly.
activity takes,
Controlling.
all the statistical key figures, all of them are still.
Exactly.
There is no change
Cost
for them.
Center, cost
Yeah,
center,
100%.
cost
Yeah.
element, activity types, and statistical key figures.
Yeah, all of them are still there. There is no change.
Still there. Only the data structure has been changed, sir. I had not done the change in the process. Only the data structure. Simplified your process into one table, but the data structure has been changed, but your process remains same, sir.
So you mean to say the operating concerns are all under the AC Docker table?
Everything will be under the AC Docker table from today onwards.
Okay.
There are two things are there. One is cost-based profitability analysis. Another one is the account-based profitability analysis. I'm bringing this account-based profitability analysis to the Docker table, not the costing-based. Costing-based will still remains in the CE1, CE4 table. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You mean COPA will be, only COPA will be there in this.
COPA with account-based profitability analysis. I'm bringing down to the Docker
Okay,
table.
got it. Okay,
Costing-based will work as it is as earlier.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Now, let me understand now. Okay, very, very important. This is very, very important. Now, when you come to the universal journal entry table, okay, now how many currencies are there? 10, 30. Okay, these are first, and these are going to be called as freely defined currencies now. Okay, these are going to be called as freely defined currencies. I'll open the structure now. Okay. So let me open the screen as it is. This is the universal journal entry table. We are going to be calling it as, okay, now if I take a one company code, you can see here. So 10 and 30. 10 is going to be called as very, very important. Just this diagram is very, very important. Just keep it in your mind. Okay, 10 and 30 are going to be the universal. 10 is the company code currency. 30 is going to be called as a global currency. If you see here, 10 is going to be called as a company, whichever the company code which has been assigned to the currency type, that is called as a 10, and 30 is going to be, I'll explain what is the global currency. Let me first okay, 30 is going to be called as your global currency. Yes, that is very good. I have seen here. Okay, so and next one, these all are going to be called as freely defined currencies. As earlier I told that, okay, 40 is going to be called as a hard currency, 50 is going to be called as the index-based currency, 60 is going to be called a controlling object currency. Okay, like this we have different currencies. Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4. These all are going to be called as user-defined currencies. Apart from the standard, you can also create your own new currency type also. I'll tell how to create everything. I'll show the demonstration now. Okay, so you can also create. So Z1 is the one user-defined currency, Z2 like this. So 2 plus totally 8. So 8 currencies are getting posted. Okay, once you're going to be posting the universal journal entry table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 freely defined currencies. So Docker table contains 2 plus 8, totally 8 freely defined currencies. This is about the Docker table. Okay. Okay, these are very, very important. I'm telling these are very, 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 very important. Wherever you see the Z1, Z2, these are called as user defined. User defined means you can also create your own currency with any two alphanumerical values. Whatever the currency types you are showing, these are the standard SAP. You cannot change them. These are the standard SAP which are available in our SAP. So if I go back, if I click on the currency types, see these are the currency types. You can see here. 00 is called as the document currency. 10 is going to be called as the company code currency. Okay, like the 40 is called as a hard currency. 50 is going to be called as index-based currency. 60 is going to be called as a global company code currency. Like this, all are standard SAP defined. These all are standard SAP defined. Apart from this, if you want to create a new currency type according to your requirement, you can go to the new entry and you can keep as a Z1 or Y1 or A1 or whatever may alphanumerical value, 2 alphanumerical value, any 2 alphanumerical value, and you can create your own currency type also according to your requirement, which is not available. You can create your own currency. So those currency types are just examples they are given as Z1, Z2, Z3, and Z4. So total Docker table. Universal General Entry Table contains about total 10 currencies, include 2 plus 8, totally 10 currencies. So if you maintain anything here, okay, now I'm coming. Okay, now I'm coming to the company code. Example, okay, like, okay, this is the Z1, I'm Mahesh, I taken this is the Z1, and this is the Z2, and this is the Z3, example, and this is the Z4, and this is the Z5, and this is the Z6, and this is the Z7. Okay, I created all the 8 currencies, different currencies, currency types. Now I send here. Okay, now when I'm posting an entry, accounting entry to this company coach, when I'm posting an account like salaries accounts, debits, or whatever maybe the accounting entries I'm posting to this company code, 1710 company code. If I go into the ECDOCA table, if I go to SC16, and if I see the ECDOCA table, so you mean to say that all the currency fields are getting updated with the currency? Yes, yes, I can tell yes, yes. So if I display this accounting, okay. Now, if I see this accounting entry, now let us assume that now I updated with all the currency types. You can see all the currency types have been updated with the different currencies. Now, when I post a document, I can see all the fields are getting updated. All the fields are getting updated. Why? Because my universal general entry table for the company code 1710 I updated all the currencies. If no table is available, if no currencies are available, for example, I have not assigned any currency types over here. Nothing is available. All are vacant. Only 2 currencies are getting updated. One is the 10, another one is going to be the 30. That is going to be called as a global currency, which we are going to be calling it as a global currency. So, universal general entry table get posted to all the currency types which you have defined in that table. Second one, as I told you that BSEC table is still it is there. BSEC table still it is live in our SAP S4HANA. BSEC table still it is live in our SAP S4HANA, and fixed asset accounting is one of the tables we are going to be discussing. So BSEC and the fixed asset accounting will have only 3 level of table, 3 level of currencies. One is 10, 30, and 40. So where you define these 3 currencies, if I go into the universal general entry table, if I just scroll down to the right hand side, these are going to be the first BSEC table and asset accounting currencies. So this is the certification question. Certification question to all of you, I'm telling. These 3 columns which I'm going to be displaying, these are for the BSEC and for the asset accounting. 10, 30, any additional currency, third currency, these 3 currencies are for the BSEC table and for the asset accounting table. Very, very important. Next one.
Mahesh, I have a question before we go to next topic. Today, someone asked me a question that, okay, there's some currencies are different and they are not assigned. Like Indonesian currency is their 1 rupee is, no, their 10,000 rupees is equal to $1. How we will assign that? How we will change into like a transfer money?
No, means you are going to be using your company code currency as a Indonesian dollar. First thing, let me confirm. First of all, let me confirm like this, okay? See, for example, I'm taking one example now. Okay, you are telling that I am talking about the Indonesian currency. So, $1, one USD dollar is equal to 10,000 Indonesian currency. Okay?
Yeah.
Example I'm taking, okay? What is the Indonesian currency code? IND?
I don't know. He said rupees. I don't know.
Oh, okay, INR. Okay, I'm just example. I'm making an INR.
Yeah.
Okay. Now. Okay. Okay. One rupee is equal to 10,000 Indonesian currency, or what exactly your?
I think he asked just like, for example, he want to know.
Okay. What he has asked? Tell me.
He just said that, okay, how you will assign currency. It was about related to treasury. Question was related to treasury.
We need to set up the ratios.
Yes. I'm talking. So $1 USD is equal to 10,000. Example, I'm taking 10,000. Okay, KHD, Cambodian currency. Okay, I can take like this. Okay, KHD, Cambodian currency here. Okay, Cambodian dollar. We can call it as a 10,000 Cambodian dollars. Now, what I will do here, this is my local currency. what I will do when I'm creating a company code, I will assign the KHD as a currency. KHD to my company code 1709 or 17, whichever the company code I'm creating, this will become my local currency or company code currency. So when I'm doing the transactions between the KHD to the USD, what I will do here, so the dollar value is very high when comparing with my KHD. The inflation rate is very high when comparing with the KHD with the USD. So what I will do, okay, what I will do, I will define the, first I will define the ratios between these two currencies. Ratios between the two currencies. Ratios between the KHD to the USD and ratio between the USD to the KHD. So is it 1:1 ratio or 1:4 ratio or 1:10 ratio? First of all, you need to define the ratios here. First 1:1 like this. Once you define the ratios between these two currencies, then what I have to do? I have to enter the translation rates. Very important. I have to enter the translation rates. There will be two translation rates will be there. One is the direct quotation and the second one is indirect quotation. One is the direct quotation. Second one is indirect quotation. Very important. So direct quotation. And the second one is going to be called as indirect quotation. Okay. Now, when your local currency is a KHD, when USD is a foreign currency, very important, then it will come under the indirect quotation. Okay. When your foreign currency transactions are getting happened between the USD to the KHD, then it will become the direct. So indirect quotation is nothing but here in this example, KHD to USD. This is the indirect quotation. Direct quotation here is I need to enter USD to KHD. This is the direct quotation. So already I defined the ratios. If it is a 1:1 means 10,000. So I'll define the rate here. 10,000 will become my KHD and is equal to 1 USD. Is equal to 1 USD. This will become my indirect quotation. Okay. Now $1 divided by 10,000. So that will become your divided by 10,000. That will become the direct quotation between the USD to KHD. So first of all, what I have to do here is, first of all, I need to maintain the ratios. Once you maintain the ratio, then you need to maintain the translation rates. The translation rates will fluctuate from day to day also. Okay. So those every day you need to maintain the translation ratios in the table. So based on the translation ratios, the transactions are getting posted. If you're not entered the translation ratios, okay, I not maintain the translation ratio, Mr. Mahesh. So what I have to do here? So directly what you can do here is, okay, at the time of posting, for example, if I attach 02, okay, at the time of posting, there is a field is called as, okay, rate, USD, what is the dollar value? Okay, 1 point something like for whatever, you can enter manually over here in this particular field. Rate can be entered manually over here. So this is what exactly you have to do when you are posting the transactions between the local currency to the foreign currency. Clear?
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Mahesh, can I ask one question?
Yes, madam.
Usually the rates will be given by the bank rate. Bank will be given by the B.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Correct.
Okay, yeah, because, okay. We have
So what they will do every midnight or something like they will send you the exchange rate spreadsheet in Excel sheet. Actually, they'll send you. So we are going to run some batch jobs back. Okay, our basis people, what they will do, they will create some batch jobs and automatically those rates are automatically updated in the table, or you can enter manually also if you require.
Yeah, that's what. Because my previous project, we had two rates, but one updated quarterly and one updated daily. The bank used to send it to me. Now I got so scared because in HANA now we have to do it.
No. This can be run through the batch jobs as previously, but not to worry about that. Okay, this has been remained as it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So BSEC table and the fixed asset accounting tables, very important. Okay. If you go to the universal general entry field, if you go to the universal general entry field, this is the universal general entry, company code setting, universal general. This is what exactly we are calling it as a, okay, universal. So this first currency, second currency, and third currency, these three currencies, first currency, second currency, and the third currency, these three currencies, what you are updating, this is for the basic and for the fixed asset accounting. Very, very important certification, where you will update your fixed asset accounting currencies in your SAP S/4HANA. The answer will be in the same universal general entry table for the first, second, and third currencies, which will be both for basic table and for your asset accounting table. Very, very important. Now, no more defined currencies for each and every field name. Now, everything has been brought down into one field. Everything will be brought down into one single screen. So this is the universal general entry table fields, and this is for the basic, and for this is for the asset accounting. Okay, next one. For the material ledger, okay, material ledger will accept up to three currencies, 10, 30, and 40. And controlling, you're only defining two currencies. One is going to be called as a 10, another one is going to be called as a 30. Very, very important. So material ledger will accept up to three currencies. One is the local currency, group currency, another one is the index-based currency or any other hard currency. Whereas controlling, we have only two currencies. One is the 10, another one is the global currency. So these in this particular five, you are seeing about the five fields, you will get two questions. 100% damn sure you will get a two questions for the certification if you are writing associate level. How many currencies are getting supported for the controlling in SAP S/4HANA? The answer should be two. One is the 10, another one is the 30. Asset accounting currency fields are updated in which table? Asset accounting update fields are getting updated in the same universal general entry with the three currencies, that is 10, 30, and 40. So you can't expect, okay, what type of question? But damn sure I'm telling that there will be two or minimum two, maximum three questions will come from this particular currency fields updation. And these are going to be called as a supported process. Conversions between one currency to another currency. Real-time currency conversion can be happened between all these currencies. Okay, real-time currency conversion means like just now I given Cambodian currency with the USD currency, USD with France currency, USD with the German currency, USD with INR. Okay, like this. Real-time conversion is going to be happened. If you see the into mark means it is applicable for all the fields. So real-time conversion currency can be happened to all the fields. Like a zero balance for the universal general entry table means all the entry tables, whatever the transactions you are posting to the universal general entry table, the balance should be zero with all the currencies. Open item management. What do you mean by open item management? Outstanding, like payables, like FI with the accounts payables, FI with the AR, FI with the GLs. If you see any kind of open item management, all currency fields are getting updated. Foreign currency valuations are going to be happened to all the currencies. And regrouping. Regrouping is only for three currencies. Very, very important. Regrouping is only applicable for three currencies. One is 10, 30, and 40 only. 10, 30, and 40. Regrouping is not available for the other 8 freely defined currencies. CO allocations is applicable for all the currencies. Like this, fixed asset accounting is only for three currencies. As I told you that. Fixed asset accounting is only for 10, 30, and 40. Like this, you can see 10, 30, and 40. Material ledger only contains about the three currencies. Yes, material ledger only up to the 10, 30, and 40. Remaining one is not available. Okay, like settlements can be happened only two currencies, and the reposting can be happened at the two currencies. Settlements and the reposting can be happened with 10 and 30. So,
Mahesh, quick question on the real time.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Real-time currency conversion. Is that means do we need any interface required here for real-time currency conversion?
No.
Then how do I get a real-time conversion?
That is what exactly I told you. You are maintaining the exchange rates, no, sir. No need to maintain any kind of posting.
That is not a real-time currency. That is not a real-time currency, right? Real-time currency changes for every minute.
See, every minute means something like, see, for example, when I call it as a real-time currency conversion is nothing but, see, whatever the transaction currency which I'm entering in the SAP for the document posting automatically. So based on the current, for example, if I'm posting an accounts payable and it is getting posted to my general ledger. Okay, so when there is a one reconciliation process is going to be triggered, so there is a real-time currency conversion is going to be happened between the payables and the general ledger. This is what exactly the concept which we are going to be talking here.
Mahesh, I have a question. So earlier, we used to have the bank rates going to posted to a table called TCURR, which is which is normally used as an XML table. XML, and using that SM36, it is getting posted twice daily. Or
Still,
so still that.
Yeah, sticker table still it is active.
It is still there. So
Yeah,
I
without
think that
the ticker table, without the
going
ticker
forward
table, I
also,
cannot do all those currency transactions, sir.
yeah, so going forward also it will be the, I mean,
It will be there,
if
sir.
we are
It will be
automatically updating the rates, we will be still
exactly.
using.
Exactly, you're right, sir. Okay, so if I go to SE16 ticker table, which is very, very important, T001, T030, T03006C, these are all important tables at the time of conversion.
Normally getting updated whenever we are doing
exactly. See here.
a
This is what exactly.
SM36 normally get posted to that table whatever the time we set up, twice daily or once in.
Whatever the changes you have done, that changes fluctuations you can see.
Yeah.
Yes. Ticker table still it is there, sir. Yes. No change in the ticker table.
Okay.
If you want to create any kind of financial reports related to the currency translation, we are taking the base as a ticker table only, sir.
So only if you are using that OB08 transaction code for exchange rates updates, then we have to do that manually. Otherwise, if you are using automatically,
yes.
then we will be using this SM36 and updating this.
Exactly. You're right. Right.
All right. Okay.
See, sir, when you come to the logic wise will remain as it is only, sir. I have not done any kind of changes from the logical wise, just a data structure level, the processing of the differentiation between the different tables to the one table, that is only the change I brought. But every time, whatever the conversion factors between the tables, I have done the same things, sir. No more changes from that. Everything will remain as it is only.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, Mahesh. I have a question. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mahesh. A question. For the conversion rate type, where do we maintain for the freely defined currency with the transaction currency? For example, you may using the rate M, or you may using the rate R, and RVAL. So where do you maintain the which exchange rate you used for the relation between the new freely defined currency and the transaction currency?
Transaction currency, madam. Always you have to take the basis of the transaction currency only.
But you maintain a newly freely defined currency, right?
That I will explain. That I'll come into the point, madam. That freely defined, till now I have not shown any practicals about the freely defined currency. Just I shown example here, but we are not created any newly defined tables as of now. That we'll do in the coming classes. That are not explained to you the concept. I mean to say that we have not explained the concept of freely defined, the conversion factors, everything, because there are some settings are there. We have to do the settings. So based on the conversion. So here, whatever the currency types you are defining. 1 second. Just we are a little bit of it up. Okay, but okay. So here. I need to maintain, okay, I need to maintain here, okay, the currency transaction factors over here. Whether if I double click, come on. I need to maintain the translation date and the exchange rate types over here. Okay, translation dates based on the bank average or bank selling or bank buying. And what is the translation type? Whether you want to take the posting date or document date or the translation date for the posting. And the real-time conversion is going to be happening or not. This is what exactly the tick mark which I need to do. The real-time conversion processing is going to be defaulted in our SAP S/4HANA. This I'm coming in the next class.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this I'm coming in the next class. We are not yet done. Just I'm explaining the skeleton here. But at the time of practicals, we are going to discuss everything. Okay.
Thanks,
so tomorrow,